Now at 6, the Pittsburgh Art Walk Committee held their first meeting of the year.
Plus, local kids get outdoors to learn about bird watching at Shoal Creek.
And the latest on a series of kidnappings in Wichita.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Bella Line.
And I'm Cale Chapman. The Pittsburgh Art Walk Committee held their first planning meeting of the year.
Committee members were able to meet each other, welcome new members, and brainstorm on ideas for this year's Art Walk events. The meeting was held in the Pittsburgh Public Library.
So I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, and I can say that art was not always the first thing on people's minds. So really witnessing the cultural growth of the area has been enlightening. So to see that momentum and now to be a part of it, a part of its growth, has really just really filled my heart because, like I said, it hasn't always been this way.
The first Art Walk of 2023 will take place on April 21st in downtown Pittsburgh.
Bird watching has always been a good way to connect to the outdoors. Earlier today, the Missouri Department of Conservation held their Kids Christmas Bird Count at Shoal Creek. The kids were joined by veteran birders from the Ozark Audubon Society. Together, they learned about the different species in the area and collected information on local bird populations.
The great opportunity of being able to come outside, see different kinds of birds that we get to see here. It's a very unique ecosystem that people don't get to see in a lot of other places, and I think that really excites people to get outdoors. It's the new year. People are looking for new, exciting activities to do. They want to get their kids, their grandkids outside, so I know a lot of the parents and adults that have brought them today are just excited to get outside, to have their kids excited with them about learning about nature, and I think that's what really draws our audience out here to Shoal Creek.
A new update out of Wichita, Kansas, where a series of kidnappings has one neighborhood on edge.
New details emerging Friday about the kidnapping case of 3 kids in 2 days in Wichita's East Ridge neighborhood. For neighbors like Melissa Kemp, she wonders if the second incident Thursday morning could have been prevented if the community had been made aware about the first incident that happened Wednesday afternoon.
I think a lot of parents would have been more proactive. You know, we see these kids out here all the time playing, and we could have prevented. I believe we could have prevented it because, you know, not only is it the parents' responsibility, but it kind of takes a village for everyone, for all these kids.
Melissa says she understands police have a process to follow, but is disappointed when there's a threat to public safety like this. Police didn't do more to alert the community, especially around Boston Park. The Kemps live about a block away.
They could have very well went door to door and told people, you know, this is what happened. They could have told the school. There's 2 schools, or I don't know, 3 or 4 schools that are really close. If it happened to one, it could happen to the other.
Wichita police say Manassas Ward forced a 13-year-old girl Wednesday and on Thursday forced a 10-year-old girl and 7-year-old boy into his car. Police Friday say Ward sexually assaulted both girls. WPD also saying that while the 7-year-old boy was riding with an officer, he spotted the suspect's car and led investigators to it. The Kemps are neighbors to the 10-year-old girl and 7-year-old boy and know them well. Melissa says they're sending their love and support to the kids and their family after all they've been through.
Very good kids, very respectable, very helpful. Doesn't surprise me that he was able to help the police department catch him.
Yesterday, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation responded to a suspicious death inside the Lansing Correctional Facility. Corrections officers from the Lansing Correctional Facility were called to a 2-person cell just before 8:30 p.m. There they found one of the occupants unresponsive. He appeared to have been attacked and strangled, according to the KBI. Life-saving measures were attempted and EMS was on scene. An autopsy will be conducted and a suspect has been identified. Charges are currently pending. Student meteorologist Chloe Orea joins us for a first look at the weather.
Oh yeah, well I'm not sure what this light is right here. Some may call it a UFO, others may call it a street light. Well, we will never know. Current temperatures are in the lower or upper 30s to lower 40s, but we reached up into the upper 40s today, which is pretty average for this time of year. Now our record, we reached up into the 70s back in 1965 and a whopping -6 for our record low back in 1968. Now, thankfully we're not that cold, but we're still a little on the chilly side. Current temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s across the board. But coming up here in just a bit, we're going to talk about a chance for storms maybe on Thursday and our next cold blast coming up pretty soon here. I'll talk about all of that here in just a bit.
All righty, we take time now to honor a local veteran. John Anderson served in the Navy at a submarine repair base in Perth, Australia. The Joplin native earned the Good Conduct Medal, Victory Medal, and Asiatic Pacific Medal for his time abroad. To Yeoman Second Class John Anderson, we thank you, our four-state hero.
Coming up, the Speaker of the House has finally been decided after over a dozen votes.
Plus, an immigration rally in El Paso shows support for migrants at the border.
A rally and march took place in El Paso, Texas today, focusing on immigration issues. Organizers say they want to show support for the rights and dignity of refugees, migrants, and border communities. The event was organized by a group called the Border Network for Human Rights. The group says that the border is the new Ellis Island as people start making their way to America looking for a land of promise and prosperity.
The job of providing shelter for refugees and asylums and families is being taken by NGOs, faith-based organizations, and all of them. They've been doing it for many years, but that is not sustainable. We didn't break the system. Somebody else needs to fix it, and that is the federal government.
The group is asking the White House to address immigration and lift Title 42.
California state officials are looking into a large oil slick that appeared in water roughly 2 miles off the coast on Friday. Santa Barbara's Heal the Ocean and the State Lands Commission were notified about the problem. A State Lands Commission official said experts are trying to determine if the sheen is coming from an oil leak or natural seepage, and confirmed that it's coming from an area with very active seeps. Areas along the south coast were heavily impacted by this week's storm, but it is unclear if that includes a section of old near-shore oil wells near the spills area.
A sign of support for Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin was hung at the Peterson Event Center, the arena on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh. Fans who attended the Clemson-Pittsburgh basketball game signed messages of support for Hamlin. Hamlin played football for the Panthers from 2016 to 2020. Hamlin collapsed during a football game Monday against the Bengals in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Bills are scheduled to play against the New England Patriots on Sunday.
And the House of Representatives has finally elected a new speaker, Kevin McCarthy. It took more than a dozen votes to elect McCarthy. CBS correspondent Wendy Gillette reports on the historic late-night voting in Washington.
Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 216.
It took 15 votes, but finally Kevin McCarthy got the support he needed from his fellow Republicans to become Speaker of the House.
It took a little longer than we thought, but if there's one thing I want the country to hopefully learn about me this week is that I will never give up.
The next Speaker of the 118th Congress, Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy claimed the Speaker's gavel after midnight, culminating 4 days of disarray and dissension in the chamber not seen since the Civil War. The infighting led to harsh words on the House floor during the 14th vote. McCarthy had to flip more than a dozen conservatives to give him the majority he needed.
And now the hard work begins. What we do here today, next week, next month, next year, will set the tone for everything that follows. So help you God. Congratulations.
Newly elected members of Congress were sworn in, but a debate and vote on a rules package was delayed until Monday. In a demonstration that there can be quick progress in Washington, this sign was hung early Saturday at the Capitol, recognizing the new Speaker. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
The House has adjourned and will reconvene Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Representative George Santos was sworn in today in Washington, D.C. Santos is under investigation by the Nassau County District Attorney's Office after it was revealed he fabricated nearly every part of his resume. The Republican lied about his heritage, education, and professional life when he campaigned and won his U.S. Congress seat. Despite calls to resign and not take the oath of office, Santos does not show signs of giving up his position. Republican leadership has mostly stayed silent on the issue.
The Funny 40 Fellows kicked off the start of Carnival season with their iconic streetcar ride down historic St. Charles Avenue. The party on the tracks happened on Carnival's 12th night on Friday. The crew is a historic Mardi Gras organization that first took the streets in 1878, but stopped parading in 1898. The group was revived in 1981 and became known for its satirical parades.
A little later, high school choirs from across the Midwest met in Wisconsin to compete.
And coming up here in just a bit, we'll talk about those cooler temperatures, but we might see a warmer pattern pretty soon here coming up next. Well, how about those winter temperatures? For finally, about time we've seen some seasonal temperatures for this time of year, but we might have some warm-ups coming up pretty soon here. Let's take a look at Indigo Casino live right now. It's very calm outside. That sun just set. Now the sunset's getting a little later as the days go on. Thankfully, the days are getting longer. Very cold though right now. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 30s and even lower 40s for some regions. Grove sitting at 42, Miami at 39, Yates Center up there at 37 right now. We've got that northerly wind coming down from the north, giving us those cooler temperatures. So we're going to cool down pretty well tonight into tomorrow morning, but hanging out in the lower 40s to upper 30s this evening, 41 by the time you wrap up with dinner tonight. And then as you head into the later evening hours, about 11 p.m., we'll be at about 36 degrees as we head into later tonight. Now this afternoon we had a little bit of precipitation and even some flurries here and there up north, north of our viewing area, and that since has passed out. But now our viewing area hasn't seen any precipitation. We have some precipitation up north and even down south in parts of Arkansas as well as Oklahoma. They have a couple flurries going on here and there. Not quite the case for us, fortunately or unfortunately. That's up for you to decide. But taking a look at tonight, clouds are going to clear out. We're going to be in the mid to lower 30s as we head into tonight. And then in the morning as you wake up, you're going to see a couple of clouds here and there, especially if you're in Missouri and Arkansas, and that's going to phase out by the time we head into the afternoon hours. Sunday at 4:30 we'll be in the upper 40s to lower 50s. We're going to have another round of cloud coverage in the morning on Monday as you're up and at it, ready to go to work. You're going to see more cloud coverage. That's going to phase out as we head into the afternoon hours, and we'll be in the lower to upper or lower to mid 40s, excuse me. But on Monday, we'll have some gusty winds with even gusts of up to 35 to 40 mile per hour winds coming from the south. But then as we head into Tuesday morning, that'll be pretty clear and out of our way. Now looking at our 7-day forecast, we're going to see temperatures pretty seasonal for this time of year. Highs in the upper 50s for Monday and Tuesday, and even on Wednesday we'll reach up into the 60s, which I like to see personally. We'll have some cloud coverage on Wednesday, and then Thursday we have a chance for precipitation about 60%.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with those warmer temperatures. I'm getting kind of tired of the cold.
I know, me too. I'm ready for those warmer temperatures. Let's
Heck yeah.
bring it on.
Give me some sun. I'm ready for it. Alrighty, well, still ahead, the Kansas City Chiefs finish up the regular season this afternoon on the road against the Raiders. And the Webb City Cardinals play for the Kaminsky Classic Tournament title in Joplin. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
Well, this week is the final week of the regular season for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs hit the road this afternoon, finishing up their schedule against the AFC West rival Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this one is not quite over, but it's over if you know what I mean. Chiefs lead 31-13 with less than 3 minutes to go. Patrick Mahomes has 202 passing yards and a touchdown, and Kansas City has forced 2 turnovers on the afternoon. Well, today is the final day of the Kaminsky Classic at Joplin High School. The Webb City Cardinals are in the tournament championship today after winning their first 2 games in Joplin. The Cardinals face the Francis Howell Vikings, aiming for a tournament title in their 8th consecutive win. And for Webb City, Holt and Keith, buries the open three in the first quarter. Then final seconds of the first, Alex Martin steals and gets loose, finishes just before the buzzer. Cardinals up 3 after the first. On into the second quarter now. Eli Pace gives it up to Amari Jackson. He scores and the foul. Webb City gets the lead to 5 at halftime. A really tight game today. In the fourth, back to Keith, cutting on the baseline for the reverse. He scores 11. Then Baron Duda, working in the lane, finds his way through for 2. He leads Webb City with 18. Now Cardinals lead by 1 with 2 seconds to go. Howell with the chance to win it, but it is just off. And that's it. Webb City wins the Kaminsky Classic Championship 53-52. On the third place game, the tournament host Joplin Eagles face Poplar Bluff. Early on, Quinn Renfro on the break gets up, lays it off the glass. He scores 10 for Joplin. Later in the first, all right, one move to the pull-up 3. Eagles lead by 3 heading into the second quarter. Now in the second, Joplin gets hot. All right drops the hammer and the foul. 13-0 run to begin the second for the Eagles. They're up 11 at halftime. In the second half, Whit Hafer, two-handed jam, 8 points, 16 rebounds for Hafer. Then in the fourth, All Right drives and finishes. He scores 32 points. Joplin takes third at the Kaminsky Classic this afternoon, 66-60. Well, both the Pittsburg State Gorillas and Missouri Southern Lions are in action this evening in MIAA conference play. Now, the Lions are in Nebraska, facing the Nebraska Kearney Lopers. On the women's side, this one is a top 25 matchup. Southern is ranked 11th in the nation coming into the day, while UNK is number 22. Now, in that one, the Lions fall just short, 54-51. Lacey Stokes scores a team-high 16 points for Missouri Southern. Now, after that, the Southern men hit the floor against the Lopers. Lions on a 5-game winning streak coming into the day. Southern makes it 6 in a row, winning by 10, 75-65. Vincent Sigmund Jr., another big day for the Lions, leading the way with 23 points. As for the Pittsburg State Gorillas, they're in Western Kansas tonight facing the Fort Hays State Tigers. Now, the PSU women looking to bounce back after falling to Nebraska Kearney on Thursday. Now, tonight, Pitt State, it's a really nice road win, beating the Tigers 87-65. Grace Pyle scores a team-high 21, Tristan Gegg 19, including going 5 for 7 from 3. The Gorillas now 11-4 this season, including 6-3 in the MIAA. Now, the men's game here that you see on the screen, Gorillas trying to avoid a third straight loss against Hayes. Pitt State not able to get it done. They fall 83-55. Quentin Hardrick Jr. leads the way for the Gorillas with 11 points. So obviously the Chiefs fighting for the #1 seed. They're firmly in control tonight against the Raiders. We'll have highlights and post-game reaction from that one right here tonight at 10.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Once again, another strong Chiefs showing. It's always good to see, especially this late in the season.
Yeah, I know some Chiefs fans. We talked to Dow and Doug, and they were worried about this game.
Oh, yeah?
They're worried about every game, but
yeah, they are.
Nothing to worry about, clearly.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, there you go. We've got more sports, more news, more weather. We'll be right back.
The Bluffs were alive with the sound of music today. High school show choirs from across the Midwest came to La Crosse, Wisconsin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, to compete in Vinterbro's 101 show choir competition. Music professor Nancy Allen says the competition started to help high school students improve their singing technique and has only grown since.
We started as a clinic as a way to help the high school groups in the area get better, and as that got going, people asked for a competition, so it turned into a competition. But it's been a terrific way for our students to interact with the young students that are attending today.
Well, I like the little Sound of Music plug we had going there at the beginning. That was fun.
You got to keep it all themed together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I loved it. Exactly. So what should we expect for the next week? I know you talked a little bit about some winter weather coming, some rain. How's it looking?
Yeah, so we do have a chance for precipitation. On Thursday, we have a 60% chance, but aside from that, we're going to be pretty seasonal for this time of year. 40s and even 50s, a couple days reaching the lower 60s for our highs. We'll have some cloudy days, but above all, we'll have some nice days ahead.
Well, I'm so excited. As you said, I'm not appalled by the 60-degree weather and all of the beautiful weather that we've seen even in the last week. So.
I know, right? Yeah, you never know. You wake up or you go 5 minutes later and you never know what you're going to expect to see.
Oh, that's Kansas for you.
Yeah.
In the 4 states, really.
You got to love
exactly.
it, for sure. All righty. Well, that's our time for tonight. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.